Welcome back. You're watching Left, Right and Centre. In just a few moments, I'll be joined by the daughter of G. Krishnaiah, the late district magistrate of Gopalganj in Bihar, who was killed in 1994 by a mob in violence egged on by Anand Mohan Singh, the former RJD leader who is now walked out of jail after the Nitish government tweaked rules. This has triggered a huge political controversy. I'm also joined by Amitabh Das, former IPS officer, Sandeep Saurav, a CPI MLA from Paliganj near Patna, Rajiv Ranjan of the JDU, Dr. Ashok Sinha of the BJP. Let me go across to Rajiv Ranjan first. Mr. Ranjan, why has your government gone and changed the rules recently to allow this to happen?
देखिए, सबसे पहली बात तो यह है कि पूरे देश में ऐसा प्रावधान कहीं नहीं। हमारे यहाँ जो स्थितियां थी आज उससे बेहतर है। आज कोई भी सर्विंग ब्यूरोक्रेट इस तरह के किसी भी तरह की सुरक्षा के भाव से ग्रस्त नहीं। उनके सामने जीवन को लेकर के कोई संकट नहीं है और अपराधियों के हौसले पस्त है। इसलिए इसकी प्रासंगिकता अब कहीं से भी दिखती नहीं थी और इसीलिए सरकार ने ये फैसला किया। लेकिन यहाँ एक बात मैं स्पष्ट करना चाहूंगा, आनंद मोहन अगर सुप्रीम कोर्ट के हाल के फैसलों में जिस तरह से इक्वलिटी को लेकर के बातें कही गई, अपने ऑब्जर्वेशंस में सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने कहा मामलों में इक्वलिटी होना चाहिए, और मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि देश में कहीं भी जेल मैनुअल में इस तरीके का प्रावधान नहीं है कि अगर कोई सर्विंग ऑफिसर है तो उसके लिए कोई अलग से कानून है, एक आम आदमी है तो उसके लिए कोई अलग से कानून। तो वैसी स्थिति में ये फैसला, ये अलग बात है कि आनंद मोहन लगभग 16 साल, 15.5 साल उन्होंने जेल में गुजारे, और जो रेमिशन को लेकर के हमारा बोर्ड है वो आमतौर पर जिन लोगों ने भी 14 साल की सजा पूरी की उनको लेकर जेल एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन की ओर से जो रिकमेंडेशंस होते हैं उस पर वो बातें करते हैं और उसके बाद फैसला राज्य सरकार को कम्युनिकेट करते हैं।
राजीव जी, एक चीज बताइए, आप इनको वापस पॉलिटिक्स में लाएंगे? मतलब आपका कोई प्रॉब्लम है अगर आनंद मोहन सिंह वापस जेडीयू या आपके अलायंस पार्टनर आरजेडी में ज्वाइन करते हैं?
नहीं, मुझे नहीं लगता है कि इन सवालों पर अभी बात करने की जरूरत है।
नहीं, बहुत जरूरी है सर। इसलिए जरूरी है क्योंकि बताया जा रहा था कि यू चेंज द रूल्स बिकॉज ही इज अ स्ट्रॉन्ग राजपूत लीडर।
देखिए, जिस समय वो जेल गए थे उस समय भी वो राजपूत लीडर थे, जिस समय उनको सजा मिली उस समय भी वो राजपूतों के लीडर थे। और नीतीश कुमार जी की पूरी पॉलिटिक्स में राजपूत, भूमियार, ब्राह्मण, यादव, मुस्लिम नहीं। जो परसों का फैसला है, डे बिफोर यस्टरडे, अगर इस तरीके का फैसला हुआ तो आप भारतीय जनता पार्टी के नेताओं से पूछिए। आनंद मोहन के सवाल पर यह फैसला बाद में आया। सुशील कुमार मोदी जी ने तो यहां तक कहा कि उनके साथ नाइंसाफी हुई है और जब राजीव गांधी के हत्यारों को सजा से मुक्ति मिल सकती है तो फिर आनंद मोहन को क्यों नहीं, उनके लिए राज्य सरकार को बात करनी चाहिए।
In fact, let me ask Dr. Ashok Sinha of the BJP. Rajiv ji, एक second. Dr. Ashok Sinha of the BJP is with us. How do you react to what has taken place?
Vishnu, I think two types of people have been murdered. First, the living bureaucrat Krishnaiah, who had a very clean image, very functional image he had. Bureaucrats of that time, some IAS officers have been privy to me, and they were telling that he was a wonderful person and he was a committed, very committed bureaucrat. Irrespective of his caste affiliation, he never discriminated against anybody, or whatever was needed, he did it very efficiently. So system was murdered that time in 94. I don't know, I can't blame, but Supreme Court has convicted Anand Mohan ji. It's a fact. It's fact before everybody. And this time, when the rule has been tweaked, the system again has been murdered. This time against the working bureaucrats. Nitish Kumar became famous for his Susasan, only of these type of rules. And now Nitish Kumar has shown that he can stoop so low that he will hardly bother for good governance or anything else. It's all under the pressure of his largest alliance, RJD. It's clear. And it can be told that Nitish Kumar's decision in some days back on three important decisions. First, he tweaked his rule against prohibition. He tweaked his rule for those people who was accused for murdering serving bureaucrats. And thirdly, in the teacher's case, clearly he is under pressure of RJD. So,
may I respond,
by that, he is unmindful what type of disservice he is doing to this state. He has murdered a system just now. And he is so ashamed of release of Anand Mohan.
Dr. Sinha, 1 second. You made lots of points. Rajiv Ranjan wants to reply. Rajiv ji, बताइए.
देखिए, मैं आपसे केवल अशोक सिन्हा जी ने जो भी बातें कही, लोगों को भारतीय जनता पार्टी से इस तरह के बयान की अपेक्षा, लेकिन कल और परसों के बीच गिरिराज सिंह, इनकी पार्टी के नेता राजीव प्रताप सिंह रूडी और उसके साथी जितने भी इनके दल के ठाकुर लीडर्स थे, उन सब ने खुल करके आनंद मोहन जी की रिहाई की बात की और सबने इस फैसले को सही ठहराया. इन्होंने किया क्या? इन्होंने बस उसमें ये ढूंढा कि आनंद मोहन की रिहाई तो सही है, लेकिन इसमें जो एमओआई समीकरण के लोग जो पकड़े गए, अब अपराधियों में भी कौन मुसलमान होगा, कौन यादव होगा, इस पर इनकी नजर ज्यादा थी. आनंद मोहन की रिहाई पर इनकी पार्टी के पहले ट्वीट को, जिसको अमित मालवीय ने किया था, उसके बाद डैमेज कंट्रोल में भारतीय जनता पार्टी के 1 दर्जन नेताओं के बयान हैं जिन्होंने आनंद मोहन की रिहाई का स्वागत किया है. इसीलिए अशोक सिन्हा क्या कहते हैं, मैं नहीं समझता हूं कि बहुत ज्यादा समझने की जरूरत है. ये पूरी तरह से राजनीतिक और सर्वाधिता है कि एक तरफ आप कानून व्यवस्था को लेकर के आप निशाने पर सरकार को लेते हैं और दूसरी तरफ जाति के दलदल में नीतीश कुमार जी ने बिहार को नहीं धकेला. आप पूरी तरह से धर्म और राजनीति, इन सवालों को लेकर के आपकी राजनीति उत्तर प्रदेश में भी और बिहार में भी पूरी तरह से एक्सपोज है.
Okay. Rajiv ji, 1 second. Let me just go across to Sandeep Saurav as well. Sandeep, do you believe this is because of politics being played on the ground that this release took place?
देखिए, मुझे ये लग रहा है कि ये जो फैसला हुआ है, जिसमें बिहार प्रिजन मैनुअल 2012 को सुधार करके उसमें कुछ चेंज करके आनंद मोहन की रिहाई की गई है. ये बिहार में 7 पार्टियों की सरकार चल रही है, लेकिन इस फैसले को कैबिनेट से पास कराने से पहले बाकी किसी पार्टियों से, खास करके जो हमारी पार्टी है CPI-ML, हम लोगों से कोई बातचीत नहीं हुई. हमें लगता है कि 2007 में ये फैसला हुआ था, कोर्ट ने सजा सुनाई थी आजीवन कारावास का. उसके बाद से कोर्ट में कोई अपील होता, कोर्ट की तरफ से माफीनामे की कोई अपील होती, वहां से कुछ निकल के आता, तब एक और बात थी. लेकिन सरकार ने अपनी तरफ से ये पहल किया है, तो हम लोग को तो लगता है कि इसके बाद जिस तरह की तीखी प्रतिक्रियाएं आ रही है, निश्चित तौर से सरकार को इस पर पुनर्विचार करना चाहिए, बिहार सरकार को. और देखिए, कोई भी मामला है, सरकार को रिहाई को लेकर के, कोई कैदियों की रिहाई को लेकर के अगर कोई नीति बनानी है तो वो न्यायपूर्ण होना चाहिए, वो पारदर्शी होना चाहिए. जैसे पिछले दिनों बिहार विधानसभा के भीतर एक और महत्वपूर्ण मामला हम लोगों ने उठाया था और माननीय मुख्यमंत्री से मिलकर के भी उस पर बात हुई थी कि 22 सालों से बिहार में ऐसे कई गरीब हैं. 14 लोगों की गिरफ्तारी हुई थी टाडा के तहत, और बिहार में आज टाडा कानून नहीं है. इसके बावजूद उसमें से अधिकांश लोग मर गए, सिर्फ 6 लोग बचे हुए हैं जेल में जो जिंदा है, गरीब परिवार से लोग हैं. उन लोगों की आज तक जमानत नहीं हुई है. ये जो पूरा प्रकरण चल रहा था उसमें हम लोगों ने बहुत एम्फेसाइज करके कहा कि ये जो भदासी कांड अरवल का था, जिसमें 22 साल से लोग जेल में हैं और अधिकांश लोग मर गए, 6 लोग बचे हुए हैं 14 लोगों में से, तो सरकार उनकी रिहाई करे. तो ये पक्षपातपूर्ण और टारगेट करके कुछ एक व्यक्तियों को रिहा करवाने का जो फॉर्मूला है, निश्चित तौर से ये हम लोग इसको ठीक नहीं मान रहे हैं. सरकार को इस फैसले पर पुनर्विचार जरूर करना चाहिए.
Okay. Meanwhile, we are hearing that Lalu Prasad Yadav might be meeting Anand Mohan Singh as well at some stage. But I'm sorry, we couldn't get that line across to Padma Krishnaiah. In fact, we've got her now, finally. Padma, firstly, can you hear me? Yes. So, Padma, You've heard all of these politicians speak, and they're playing out their own politics on the ground. Could you tell us a little bit about your father? Because I think this is really about the fact that he was murdered in the way that he was. Do you even remember him?
I was just 4 weeks old when my father had passed, 4.5 years old. And my sister was just 1 year older than me. Well, I think the entire nation, if even after 29 years, people are fighting about it, it's understood the kind of person my father was. So what I'm saying today is, today it's just not about the state of Bihar, about the IAS Officers Association, but it is about the safety of the nation. So what I am personally feeling right now, I'm feeling very low since morning about as soon as we got to know about this. Our struggle has been extremely painful. The last 29 years, it's personally, we know how much pain that we had to go through. It's still in our minds, in our hearts, and it's the wholesome, responsible person, Anand Mohan, who had killed my father. It's because of him that I do not have a father today. So it's very disheartening to see Anand Mohan walk on the roads today. There were a lot of celebrations as well. And I'm hoping that the Bihar government thinks about this and does not encourage Anand Mohan to come into politics and let a criminal rule over the state.
Do you have a legal option before you?
Legal option, yes, definitely, because the IAS Officers Association, batchmates of my father, are very strong and particular about this, that they want to, get justice, and they're only fighting for this. So their efforts should not go in vain. That's what I'm hoping for. And rest is all to the nation, whom they are going to support.
Do you believe that this was done only because of politics on the ground, that this man is a Rajput leader, he's been he's been part of the RJD in the past, and that's what's going to ultimately happen, he'll return to politics?
Absolutely, that's definitely the motive of Nitish Kumar ji to kind of like get him into politics again, because probably they could be getting more number of votes. But I think there is a certain emotion that's attached with this entire situation that's going on right now. And all that I can say today, sir, is I'm just hoping that something really big happens. And it was my father's dream and it was my father's wish that Bihar should change. It should change. And he wanted to bring that change, but he could not. So I'm hoping that PM Modi ji also takes this into consideration. Whatever we are speaking, our voices should be heard today, and should not encourage criminals like this, because it's just encouraging other criminals to do whatever they want and move away in the society.
And this is something that's left your mother absolutely devastated. I spoke to her yesterday. She's stunned by this development.
Definitely, the effect is more on the family than the nation. But I'm pretty sure a lot of people who are from Bihar, the majority of Bihar is supporting us, and very few people from Bihar are supporting Anand Mohan. So listening to all of this is kind of like giving some relief to us. But again, he's out right now, so we are going to appeal to the Supreme Court. And we are hoping that something really positive happens.
Padma, could you tell us a little bit about what happened back in 1994? I realize it's a difficult question, but people watching this program, many of them may not know.
Well, I remember that day in the night. I generally had a habit of sleeping with my dad, and we were waiting for him to come, because we already had got the information that he started from the meet. So all of us were sitting outside in the garden, and then we were waiting for him to come. And then suddenly we get a message from the mobile, from the gate to the office. And then it was a servant who got the news first, and then he had come and passed on the same information to my mother. And there was a jeep that had come, which had taken us to the hospital. And I think I hold a lot of good memories with my dad. And back then, my only question to Anand Mohan today is, everybody is saying that he's free to go because he's kind of like served 14 years of prison in the prison. But these 14 years, I'm pretty sure he could have been living a good life. It's definitely not the same effect that we have had, like, Anand Mohan's family could have had. That day in the night, like everybody knows, he was very uncertain of anything would happen, something like this, because he believed in the people there. He worked for the people there, and he never would have thought that the people of Bihar would do something like this to him. He was attending a meeting. That's all I got to know. Later in my years, as I kept growing, I understood that the entire situation. So, like everybody reads today, everybody knows that he was returning from a meet, and then there was a mob who had seen the Lal Patti, and then they thought that they had to attack him. So why was Anand Mohan present that day? What was the need of him to be present there in Chotan Shukla's procession that was going on? Because he is a criminal, he was supporting another criminal. And he was the one who instigated the mob to go ahead and attack the vehicle. And in spite of my father saying that I am not the DM of Muzaffarpur, I am the DM of Gopalganj, he was not left free.
Yeah.
And my dad's intention, even in the dying moments, was that he wanted to protect the bodyguard. Maybe he knew that he would be killed, but he got back and saved the bodyguard and not himself. So I mean, the appeal to the government of India is, please do not, India is still a developing country only because honest officers are killed like this. So all of this should be taken into consideration. A sincere officer was, lynched to death, was shot on his face. They never even had thought that they had so much agitation and then they could have just, maybe lynched him with stones. It was not necessary. It was who had given them the rights to kill my father. So, yes.
Just the last, since you were 4 years old, how has all of these decades been one huge challenge for him? Because even the initial conviction of him being sentenced to death happened in 2007. So that happened, more than a decade after you lost your father, right? So that fight for justice has taken forever.
And it's still taking forever, right? It's still taking forever. Back in 2008, when we got to know about this, it kind of gave us solace that he would be in jail until he dies. But then later, again, today we had to get back to the same place. There's no justice for my dad and people like my dad who are out there. And I'm pretty sure there could be a lot of people who are going through the struggle like I am going through without a father. So, yes, all of this should be taken into consideration before taking decisions like this and letting criminals out and allowing them to, get into politics and all of it. Bihar needs to change. It really needs to change.
Look, Padma, I don't know what to say. It's just so sad what has taken place. And, the struggle of you and your family, your sister, your mother, all of these years, and to watch that killer of your father walk out. I can't even imagine what you're going through. But thank you for having the courage. And I hope there are people watching this. And I hope that there is an avenue of justice still available for you and your family. Thank you so much for speaking to us. Thanks so much indeed.